Hello, and welcome to the Everyday English Podcast. I'm your host, Anna, and I'm so happy you're here today. This podcast is designed especially for English learners all around the world who want to improve their listening, speaking, and confidence through simple, real, and meaningful English. Whether you're at home, at work, or walking outside, this podcast is your daily space to connect with real life English, spoken slowly, clearly, and naturally, so you can understand every word and start using English confidently in your own life. Today's episode is about something very special: how podcasts, like this one, can help you speak and listen better in English. Maybe you already listen to podcasts, or maybe this is your first time. Either way, you're in the right place. Listening to English every day, even for just a few minutes, is one of the most powerful ways to learn. It helps you understand how native speakers really talk, how they pause, how they use tone, and how they connect their words together. You also start to hear common expressions, phrases, and everyday vocabulary that you can use when you speak. Many learners think that to improve English, they must memorize long lists of vocabulary or spend hours studying grammar. But here's the truth: real progress happens when you listen and speak naturally. When you listen to English in real situations, your brain starts to understand the rhythm and flow of the language automatically. It's like music. The more you listen, the more your ears recognize the pattern. Soon, you'll find yourself speaking more easily without even thinking too much about grammar. Podcasts are a great tool for this kind of learning because they fit into your daily routine. You can listen while cooking, driving, exercising, or even relaxing before bed. You don't need to sit at a desk or open a textbook. You just need your phone and a few minutes of focus. Listening to short, simple English stories or conversations regularly helps you improve your listening comprehension and also builds your speaking confidence over time. In this episode, we'll explore how podcasts can become your daily English teacher. We'll talk about why listening is so helpful, how to practice with podcasts effectively, and how to use what you hear to improve your speaking. I'll also give you some real examples you can repeat with me to practice pronunciation, tone, and natural rhythm. So, wherever you are right now, maybe you're sitting in a quiet room, walking outside, or having your morning coffee, take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin learning together. Remember, every time you listen, you're taking one more step toward fluency. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to keep going. The more you listen, the more confident and natural you will sound. Listening is one of the most important skills when learning a new language, yet it's also one that many learners forget to practice. Most people focus on speaking or reading, but the truth is, good speaking starts with good listening. Think about how children learn their first language. They don't start by reading grammar books or memorizing words. They listen. They listen to their parents, friends, and people around them. They listen every single day. And slowly, their brains start to understand how the language sounds, how words are used, and what they mean. The same is true for you when learning English. When you listen carefully and often, your ears start to recognize sounds and patterns automatically. You begin to understand words even when you hear them fast, and your pronunciation improves naturally because your brain starts copying the rhythm of native speakers. Listening helps you think in English instead of translating from your first language, and that's a big step toward fluency. Another great thing about listening practice is that it improves your confidence. Many learners feel nervous when speaking English because they are afraid of not understanding others. But when you listen to English every day through podcasts, music, or movies, you start to feel more comfortable with how it sounds. You realize that understanding is not about knowing every single word. It's about catching the main idea, the key phrases, and the emotion behind the voice. Even native speakers don't understand everything perfectly, and that's completely normal. Listening also helps you learn vocabulary naturally. Instead of memorizing long word lists, you hear new words in real sentences and understand how they're used. For example, if you hear someone say, "I'm running late," you don't just learn the words running and late. You learn that it means I'm not on time. These small moments of understanding are what make your English more natural and fluent. So, how can you make listening part of your daily life? Start small. Listen to short podcasts like this one every day. Even 10 minutes is enough. You can listen while doing something else, like cleaning or walking. Don't worry if you miss a word or phrase, just focus on the meaning. Then, when you have time, listen again and repeat some sentences out loud. This helps you connect listening and speaking together. And here's a helpful tip. When you listen, try to imagine the situation. Picture the people talking, their faces, their emotions. This helps your brain remember the words better. Listening is not just hearing, it's understanding and feeling what's being said. So remember this: listening is not just a skill, it's the key that opens the door to speaking fluently and naturally. Every time you listen, your English grows quietly, steadily, and powerfully. How to turn listening into speaking practice. Now that you understand why listening is so important, let's talk about something even more powerful: how to use listening to improve your speaking. Many English learners listen to podcasts or videos, but they don't always know how to turn that into real speaking practice. The good news is it's simple. You can use what you hear to train your voice, your pronunciation, and even your confidence. When you listen to something in English, don't just listen passively, try to shadow it. Shadowing means listening to a short sentence and then repeating it exactly as you hear it, the same tone, rhythm, and pronunciation. For example, if the podcast says, "It's a beautiful day today," pause and repeat, "It's a beautiful day today." Try to copy the voice as closely as possible. This exercise helps your mouth, tongue, and brain get used to how English really sounds. If shadowing feels too fast, that's okay. You can start with shorter sentences or even single phrases. Listen, pause, repeat. Over time, you'll notice that your pronunciation becomes clearer, your voice becomes smoother, and your confidence starts to grow. You can even record yourself and listen to how you sound. That's a great way to notice small improvements and build motivation. Another effective way to practice is to summarize what you hear. After listening to a short podcast or a short story, stop and say out loud what it was about in your own words. For example, you could say, "The story was about a new park in the city. People were happy because it was clean and beautiful. It doesn't have to be perfect." The goal is to speak and use your English naturally. When you do this often, you learn to think in English instead of translating from your first language. You can also turn new words or phrases you hear into your own sentences. If you hear the phrase "make a difference," you can practice by saying, "I want to make a difference in my community." Or if you hear running late, try I'm running late for work today. Using new expressions in your own sentences helps you remember them better and makes them part of your everyday English. Listening and speaking are like two sides of the same coin. They work best together. When you listen, you fill your mind with real examples of how English sounds. When you speak, you use what you've learned and make it your own. The more you connect these two skills, the faster your English improves. Finally, remember to make your speaking practice fun and realistic. Don't worry about sounding perfect. Nobody does. The goal is to communicate, not to sound like a robot. You can practice while cooking, walking, or even looking in the mirror. Just a few minutes a day can make a big difference. So, next time you listen to an English podcast, maybe even this one, try to repeat, summarize, and speak out loud. Turn every listening moment into a speaking opportunity. That's how you train your brain and your voice together, and that's how you build fluency, step by step. Daily English practice tips. Now that we've talked about how to listen and speak effectively, let's look at how you can make English practice part of your daily life. You don't need to study for hours or memorize long grammar rules to improve. The secret to fluency is consistency, doing a little bit every day. Just 10 to 15 minutes of focused practice can make a big difference over time. The best way to improve your English is to make it part of your daily routine, like brushing your teeth or drinking your morning coffee. For example, when you wake up, you can start your day by listening to a short English podcast while getting ready. You don't have to understand everything, just let the language flow into your ears. Over time, your brain gets used to how English sounds and you start understanding more naturally. You can also use English in your daily activities. If you like cooking, try reading a recipe in English or watching a cooking video in English. If you enjoy music, listen to English songs and pay attention to the lyrics. Try to repeat some lines or guess what they mean. The key is to make English fun, something you look forward to, not something that feels like a test. Another great idea is to talk to yourself in English. Yes, it might sound funny, but it really works. For example, when you're getting ready, you can say, I'm making breakfast, or I need to catch the bus. When you do this, you're practicing how to think in English, which is a big step toward fluency. You can also describe what you see around you or talk about your plans for the day. This kind of self talk builds confidence and helps you feel more comfortable using English in real situations. If you have friends who are also learning English, try practicing together. You can choose a topic, like travel, hobbies, or favorite movies, and talk for 5 minutes in English. Don't correct each other too much. Just enjoy the conversation. The goal is to speak freely and naturally. If you don't have anyone to practice with, no problem. You can record your voice, listen to yourself, and notice your progress. Reading is another powerful way to support your listening and speaking. Try reading short news stories or simple books in English. You can even follow along with an audiobook or podcast transcript to connect the words you hear with the words you see. This helps you learn pronunciation, spelling, and meaning all at once. And remember, your phone can be your best language partner. You can change your phone's language settings to English, use English learning apps, or follow English channels on YouTube and social media. Surround yourself with English wherever you can. The more you hear and see it, the faster your brain will adapt. Most importantly, don't be afraid of mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. They show that you're trying, growing, and improving. Every time you speak, listen, or read, you're one step closer to fluency. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. So take small steps every day. Listen to a short podcast, repeat a few sentences, learn one new word, or say one thing out loud in English. These small actions build big results over time. English isn't something you learn overnight, it's something you build one day at a time. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of the Everyday English podcast. I hope you enjoyed learning about how podcasts can help you improve your speaking and listening skills in English. Remember, the key to fluency is daily practice. Even just a few minutes a day can make a big difference. Let's quickly review some of the most important ideas from today. Listening to real English, repeating sentences out loud, talking to yourself or a friend, reading short stories, and using English in your everyday life. Every little step counts, and every mistake you make is actually a step forward. The more you practice, the more confident and natural your English will become. Try to make English part of your daily routine. Listen to podcasts while cooking or walking. Repeat what you hear and use the sentences in real conversations. Don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. Focus on the main idea, and gradually your listening skills will grow stronger. Use technology, apps, and social media to surround yourself with English. And remember that consistency is more important than perfection. Before we finish, here are a few high level sentences you can practice from today's episode. Listening to real English helps me improve naturally every day. I practice speaking by repeating sentences I hear on podcasts. Even small daily efforts can lead to big improvements in English. Try saying these sentences out loud a few times. It will train your pronunciation and build your confidence. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I hope you feel inspired to practice English every day and use the tips we talked about in your own life. Learning a language is a journey full of small steps, small mistakes, and small victories. And every word you speak, hear, and repeat brings you closer to fluency. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a friend who is learning English too. Don't forget to subscribe to the Everyday English podcast so you can keep practicing and improving with every episode. Until next time, keep listening, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself. You're doing an amazing job. And remember, every single step you take is helping you become a stronger, more confident English speaker.